good. We don't get a lot of time. I observe 7 hours.
Right, so we're missing one commissioner, but I think we move forward. So start, we do have one still.
Yeah.
You can proceed.
Sounds good with us.
So we'll call the meeting to order. We've got the special assessment meeting Tuesday, June 23rd, 5:30. Roll call. Let's see, Elliot? Yeah, here. And Jim? And I am present, so we got 2 out of 3. Moving forward, we've got our regular agenda for pre-construction districts. We'll start with Improvement District 1356, Brookwood meter pit replacement.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me jump into the presentation here. Essentially, Improvement District 1356 is the replacement of meter pit and associated hardware and infrastructure with the pit. It was identified approximately about a year ago that the current meter pit is about 50 years old, greatly in need of replacement. A lot of the waterworks contained within is essentially on the verge of failure. So the city moved forward with essentially creating the project to replace it. As part of that project, the engineering department proposed treating it like a reconstruct project where the city will pay 70% of the costs and the property owner, the benefiting property owner, would pay the remaining 30%. So as you can see there, we estimate the total project cost at $285,000, with $85,500 of that being assessed to the benefiting property. The benefiting property there being, just real quick, we've also included in the packet a list of the commission action items that were presented leading up to this point in the project. Brief picture here of the meter pit schematic of what's going to be replaced. The location here is pretty close to the police department area of formerly the old city hall there. And essentially, you can see how we'd be tying in the new meter pit here. And as far as the benefit methodology is concerned, the entire lot would be what's proposed to receive that 30% of the total cost assessment. So that property is shown here. As far as the benefit determination and methodology, it's 100%, 70% paid for by the city of West Fargo, and then 100% of the remaining 30 would be special assessed to the benefiting property there. As you can see in the packet, we just have a brief breakdown of costs associated with the project based off of bids and contingencies, soft costs, everything there, so to speak. And then lastly, the preliminary special assessment allocation showing that the Brookwood Mobile Home Park there would be receiving that assessment. And given that we're at the end of that one here, I'm available for any questions you might have.
Certainly seems fair only charging a third to the lots, special assessing with that water revenue fund of almost $200,000. So really nice use of some city funds to help lower special assessing costs.
Yeah, and that was actually directed when the 2024 CIP was accepted by the city commission. That was a big component that they were advocates of. So that's kudos to them, absolutely.
I don't have any questions.
Okay, yeah, if there's no other questions, I'll move on to Improvement District 1358. Improvement District 1358 is essentially new water, sewerage, streets, various incidentals to one of the last remaining undeveloped areas in the Wilds neighborhood. The owner of the parcel essentially petitioned for, the last of this greenfield development, so to speak, to be finished out in I believe it's a 20 parcel cul-de-sac is what we're looking at. And so the project has proceeded, in accordance with city policies for when developers petition for greenfield development. Estimated cost is at $1.8 million, including soft costs. And the proposal there essentially has that cost being a special assessment to the benefiting properties. And then there is a component because this area is in Casserole Water Users District. Casserole Water usually cuts us a check and then essentially levies their own assessment there. Continuing on. Again, a summary of commission actions that have been undertaken and addressed. Here's a good schematic of what's being proposed for that area. Essentially, market analysis really pointed to a lack or a quickly diminishing supply of single-family homes to build on in the city. Originally, this was actually proposed to be a multifamily development, and changes in market conditions caused the developer to change plans and want to proceed this way. So this is what's proposed with streets and utility layout. And then the assessment district is shown here. One of the unique things that we are looking at doing is you'll see the tag on the east side there. Originally, currently, I guess those are two city lots. That's where the access for the old farmstead was put in when the Wilds neighborhood developed. And then there were utility stubs run through there. As part of the project here, we're going to be removing, I should say potentially removing that access drive unless the adjacent properties would be in agreement with wanting to keep it for some type of rear yard shop access or something like that if they so choose. And then the utilities going through there are going to be, the water main is going to be removed to the main back in 11th Street West, and I believe the other ones will be abandoned in place. As far as the benefit methodology, there are no regional assessments, so nothing outside of local benefit. And then as you can see, sanitary sewer, water main are both on an equivalent unit basis, storm sewer on the square foot, and street is proposed to be on a front foot basis. And again, we have a brief overview of, I believe this came from the engineer's estimate prior to us going to bid for the project. We're currently, I believe, advertising for bids now. We think there's a high likelihood that we're going to come in under, I think, what we were originally planning for that 1.8 million. There was a pretty robust conservative contingency, so to speak, in that figure. But that's currently what we're planning for. And again, this is how the assessments would break down. It's probably a little difficult to see. The one thing I would just probably comment is that the maximum assessment with this project, there was a lot that was pretty large, I believe well over a half an acre. And yes, it's going to have a pretty healthy assessment on that. And we just approved the plat on this one, so as soon as that goes live in our GIS, we plan on getting those pending special assessments on our website. But something to be aware of that, I know the sticker shock that adjacent communities have gone through recently. We're going to be feeling the effects here soon, and unfortunately. But we're at the end here, so I would say again, if you have any questions, I'm available. Otherwise, I can move on to the next item. Yes. Okay, I'll move on to the next one. Okay, this is Improvement District 1360, and this is new water supply sewerage. I apologize for the typo there. It's supposed to be sewerage. New street systems and incidentals. Essentially, the background on this is Hope Lutheran Church purchased a large parcel of land down in the wilds north of 52nd Avenue. They went through the commission process to be able to install the church facility down there. As part of the project, constructing the church, I shouldn't really say as part of the project, but as a component of their work down there, they petitioned the city for a public project where essentially they'll be putting in a couple of turn lanes on 9th Street West and running utility stubs from the street into the internal portions of the property to be able to connect on utilities there. Again, the church was the sole petitioner, and the $568,000 that's estimated would be 100% assessed to the church property. Again, we have a summary of the commission actions that have brought us to this point. I believe this one also we're currently advertising for as well, advertising for bids. This is the location of the district and the church site. The shaded areas there are actually where the footprint of the work is actually going to be.
Jerry, what's behind that open space in the white there?
I believe that is just a large undeveloped parcel that the owner's listed as Invertase LLC, and I think heard essentially through the grapevine that they no plans to develop or anything like that. It's just an undeveloped parcel that I think they plant corn in most of the time, to be honest. Yeah, you bet. Okay. Just a quick aerial there. That's the church site. And I apologize. Again, I'm not quite sure how this is our benefit determination policy. Not sure how it worked its way in here, but essentially everything is going to be 100% locally assessed to the church property. I think we're close to the end of what we wanted to cover for the project. But if you have any questions, I'm certainly available. Brief estimate as to what some of those costs are going to be as far as construction. They are looking to construct yet this year. $568,000 was the engineer's estimate with contingency. And again, that would be 100% assessed to the church property.
I have no questions.
Okay, yeah, on to the next one. Improvement District 2294. This is 6th Street East or 6th Street and 23rd Avenue East, intersection improvements just on the corner by Costco right up here. Essentially, the engineering department was hoping we'd be able to move forward with a roundabout in this area to improve functionality of the corridor. The city commission was uncomfortable with the cost associated with that, and ultimately decided that we would move forward with signalization, some turn lane improvements. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but a lot of the heavy truck traffic that goes to Costco and any of the areas over by Duluth Trading and so forth, most trucks seem to have trouble staying off the curb and the grass there. So there's going to be some modifications there. There's going to be some modifications to the functionality as far as pedestrian ramps, those sorts of things. I believe some modifications to the medians. But essentially that is the crux of what the project is going to be constructing. We're currently under construction right now. And again, the estimated total project cost is a little over $1.2 million, with currently a third of that proposed to be special assessed to the properties benefiting in the district. A third of that cost would be paid for via capital improvement sales tax, and a third of the cost to be paid for from the economic development sales tax fund. Again, a list of commission actions that have been undertaken on the project. And a quick schematic of how the intersection is, the proposed layout of the intersection. And there'll be signals and street signs going up. Here's an exhibit of the proposed district, along with the project location. And again, I'm not sure why the executive summary of our, apologize for that being in there again. Yes. That was part of the thinking behind the using economic development sales tax to help fund part of the project. Let me go back here a second. Total district cost is shown there again, a little over $1.2 million. And then we have the breakdown shown here. And again, I'm available to answer any questions.
I maybe missed it, but the methodology was similar to the square footages and
I believe so. Let me. Double check.
that's correct. It was on a EU basis based on the square footage.
Okay.
And the improvement district reflects the same improvement district that we had originally proposed for the roundabout, as well as the same district as when 23rd Avenue was originally constructed.
Sure.
I would concur with my boss, who is always right back there. Good question.
I really was making that intersection safer for both truck traffic and
Correct. along with helping, I guess, the traffic flow.
Any further questions?
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
Move on to 2296.
2296, Improvement District 2296 is the Shadowwood neighborhood, just to the south of City Hall here. Neighborhood pavement rehabilitation, essentially mill and overlay for the neighborhood, where we go in and fix settlement issues in the curb and gutter that have occurred from the original installation of the water and sewer utilities to the individual homes. And then we obviously overlay the street with usually a 2-inch asphalt overlay. Again, this being the City Commission, again, at the 2024 review of the capital improvements plan, wanted to see a cost share for mill and overlays go to 50% city paid for and 50% special assessed. So that's currently the methodology that has been used as far as the funding breakdown. So we have, down at the bottom there, you can see there's about a $1.235 million project cost for this, and $617,500, or half, would be special assessed, and the other half would come from capital improvement sales tax.
CJ, just curious the age of that road and how often we're doing this type of overlay. It doesn't seem like it's that old, but I'm sure the years have passed pretty quickly, so just
So you're
curious.
talking about south of 32nd Avenue?
This particular one is north of 32nd, just to the south of 26th, I believe. And if I had to guess, I don't have the exact age right in front of me, but if I had to guess, it's probably 10 to 15 years old.
Probably 2012 is when we put in.
That sounds probably pretty close. But we're currently in the process of trying to, put pen to paper as far as our pavement management plan as to when we do these and how we do them. And that is something that I'm hoping we'll be presenting to the City Commission here this summer. But essentially, as you can see at the bottom of the background and project summary, it's common that you look at proceeding with these projects when roads get to about 10 to 15 years old. I've heard of potentially they can be candidates as old as 20 years. It's just you have to be more subjective as to the condition of the road at that point. But that's what we're looking at. And these two are actually, I believe, the first mill and overlays on the entire south side of the city. Offhand, I can't really think of a lot of these new areas of the city that have had much of this yet, other than I think the Eagle Run neighborhood had its overlay. But bear with me, I've only been here, I think, 7 or 8 years, but I can't really recall much on the south side outside of that this work has been completed. So we're excited to be seeing it done. And then again, just a summary of the commission actions that led up to the project. Here's a good exhibit of, oh, geez, I apologize, you were right. This is the one south of 32nd Avenue. I was unfortunately referencing 2297, the next one, which is north.
Probably 2008.
That sounds correct, yeah. But that essentially shows the scope of work. Again, here we have the benefit methodology map.
Just going back up to that.
Oh, sure.
There's a small section on the top left there that has the cul-de-sac. Is that included in the vote? Is that what that's in?
Yes. Yeah, that's actually separate from the original Shadowwood neighborhood, but there was some concern by city staff. Occasionally, we just have these cul-de-sacs, and it was, let's not leave it out. Let's make sure it gets its mill and overlay as well. Otherwise, we always run the risk of, potentially forgetting about, some of these unfortunate areas. But no, we chose to include it in this one. And then we have the benefit methodology here. Again, 50% of the costs will be covered by the City of West Fargo Capital Improvement Sales Tax. And then 50% of the costs will be special assessed. With this district and 2297, we chose to present them to the commission as essentially every home in the district getting an equivalent unit. And then there were a handful of parcels that were exempted that are control card parcels or things of that nature that we don't normally assess under our policy. A brief rundown of costs that were estimated. And then again there, total cost a little over $1.2 million to be assessed according to the benefit methodology. We have a breakdown of the assessments here, and essentially every single family home is going to be receiving a little under a $4,000 assessment, amortized over 25 years.
So I guess there's that apartment that butts up to between what would be Shadowwood and 9th Street East, that's outside of the assessment district.
Let me go back to the map here real quick.
Yep.
Along Veterans Boulevard?
Correct.
Yes, that was outside of the district. Any other questions?
No.
I think that might have been about it for this one. Okay, if not, I'll go on to the next one here. And this was Improvement District 2297, the South Pond neighborhood, which is north of 32nd Avenue. This project is also under construction, almost done. Honestly, we're very happy with it. We think our contractor and engineer did a great job on it. Similar methodology, the city will be paying for 50% of the cost of the project and then assessing the other 50%, the remaining 50%, on an equivalent unit basis. Again, these two neighborhoods were chosen for their age and the condition of the differential settlement that had occurred from the utility construction. They were just two neighborhoods that stood out as some of the worst, and that's really why they were chosen. Again, this one's about a $1.26 million project that was estimated, and again, $630,000 being special assessed, and city funds paying for the other $630,000. Just a brief summary of commission actions.
So sorry to interrupt.
Sure.
Way up high, it's on the summary of it, the project, it says that it was awarded to Sellon. Is that just a typo?
Yes,
Okay.
I apologize for that. Northern Improvement Company is our contractor. And then we have essentially plans showing the footprint of the project. And north is actually on the right side of the page here to orient yourself. But it was essentially everything other than Blue Stem Drive going up to, I believe it's 26th over here. As far as our methodology, essentially the single-family homes all were proposed to receive an EU, and then we used, I guess, a slightly unique methodology for the larger lots where we just took the average of what the front footage of an EU is and superimposed that on, the front footage of the large lots, and that's how their assessment was determined. Moving on. Again, just a little bit of the information behind that. Most of the lots are just receiving an EU, and then there was a little bit of a unique methodology to the larger lots. Is that you, Kayla? And then we have, again, just a brief rundown of the estimated costs for each bid item on the project. And then total construction with contingencies. And the total assessments shown here. Probably the difference between this improvement district and the previous improvement district is just the density of the neighborhood. This neighborhood's more dense, and hence because of that, the assessment is lower, and as you can see, it reflects that. And then you can also see that, we have our few unique parcels that were contained within the district. And I'm available for any questions on this one.
No, you've answered mine, thank you.
Yeah, you bet. You bet. All right, moving on to the next one. This is Improvement District number 3008, the Meadow Ridge Development Reconstruction. Just if anybody's curious, we're calling this Phase 1, but there is not currently any plans for a Phase 2 to happen anytime soon. Essentially, this was a neighborhood reconstruct of 2 streets in the Meadow Ridge neighborhood. Essentially, there were poor pavement condition combined with sanitary sewer sags that led to Public Works having to vector and jet the sanitary sewer lines on a weekly basis. So that ultimately led to this project scoring extremely high on our project development chart, and henceforth we move forward with the project. It's currently under construction right now. Dakota Underground was our successful bidder and contractor for the project. It'll be a full reconstruct, so we'll be replacing all utilities and reconstructing streets and various incidentals. Estimated cost, as you can see there, is $5.1 million. And again, this goes back to the methodology that the City Commission wanted to see in the 2024 CIP, where the city pays 70% of the project and the benefiting properties only pay 30% of the project. And again, we have a list of the commission actions that have been taken leading up to this point. Here's the footprint of the project, or a good exhibit showing the scope. Essentially, we're going from Meadow Ridge Court in the northeast all the way to 19th on 5th, and then down 21st, I believe, here. The benefit methodology map, the Meadow Ridge neighborhood, the entire neighborhood was proposed to be the district. Currently, what's proposed, though, that to be special assessed or have an assessment is directly around you can see the gray shaded area is the project footprint, and the blue line represents what would be the assessed parcels that were determined to have benefit from the project. And occasionally, we do make a larger district, if you're curious, just because in the project development process, sometimes regional improvements get identified that are needed that provide that regional benefit and potentially should be assessed on a wider basis, but we didn't discover that for this project. Again, the benefit methodology here, equivalent unit for sanitary sewer and water main, storm sewer square foot, and street front foot. A couple of unique parcels were in there. Estimated bid prices as to what each bid item was to cost the project. And again, a total project cost of $5.1 million. And the proposed list of special assessments here. And I'm available for any questions. Okay, well, thank you. Last one of the pre-construction reviews coming up here. This is improvement district number 3009. And this is the First Avenue reconstruction from Cheyenne Street to 4th Street, 4th Street East. This project essentially was identified as a high priority project. Street was in very poor condition, and the water main was actually undersized, and some stretches of it were exceptionally old. We ended up moving forward with the project. Again, this one is a 70-30 cost split where the city's paying 70%, the benefiting properties are paying the remaining 30%. Total estimated project cost, as you can see there, is about $5.175 million. And a list of previous commission actions that have gotten us to this point. This project is also currently under construction. Celine Brothers was the successful bidder on this. And again, we've had very good luck with that contractor as well, so excited to see this project moving forward. Okay, we have plan sheets showing essentially the scope of work here. Again, this is a full reconstruct, so reconstruction of the utilities and streets and various incidentals. There is an effort on this one. A lot of the concrete work, especially curb and gutter, was actually in pretty good shape. So we did tailor the project to try to keep as much of some of that concrete as we could, just because it didn't look like there was an issue with it. The benefit methodology map is here. And you can see that there's some just uniqueness to where the storm sewer assessment is occurring, the street assessment, and the water main assessment. And again,
It almost looks like the water is splitting up the old middle school there. Is that a couple different lots there, or is that why? There's two different parcels. It's kind of coming through the middle.
I believe it was because there is something along the lines of, I think there was water to the south, but there will be some type of benefit. I know at least like a fire benefit for, hydrants, things like that, to the north side of the property. But it was determined over that process that that was an appropriate cutoff line. And the district methodology here. The sanitary sewer in this area was recently relined under a separate project that the city commission authorized to be paid for 100% via capital improvement sales tax. So there is zero sanitary sewer assessment that's going to be placed on in this area. There is some sanitary sewer work. There's the decommissioning of a undersized lift station in the area, but that lift station is being removed and just connected to a downstream gravity line, and it was determined that there was no local benefit for that, so no assessment hence. Water main is being replaced at the equivalent unit, storm sewer square foot, street front foot, and street lighting front foot. Roughly $4 million in construction costs estimated, including contingencies. That brought us to our $5.175 million project. And then we have the assessment list here. I probably should have asked sooner, but let me know if I'm going too fast or too slow.
So at the top where you have the 70-30 split, is that accurate or is that skewed based on the decommissioning of the lift station?
I believe, if I remember correctly, that was to be a city cost.
Sure, so that wouldn't be reflected in this at all?
Correct. Did I phrase that correctly, Dan? Okay. Correct. I apologize. This one started life under Dan, and I took it over. Great question, though. Any other questions? Okay. That was the last of the pre-construction districts.
Moving on to current assessment districts, 1345 Sandhills.
Okay, these are the current districts. Improvement District 1345 here, the Sandhills 6th edition is the first one. This project started life, two developers approached the city, essentially for providing, I believe it was the old Meadowbrook Park subdivision, but looking to redevelop and have the city install proper utilities and streets, turn it into more of a commercial industrial area. As it being greenfield development, it was proposed that essentially the assessments would be 100% assessed to the petition for and benefiting properties. Total project cost was estimated and actually came in at $6,136,784.35. List of commission actions that have been taken to date on the project. Followed by a improvement district map. Essentially, the thick dashed line was the entire district. The grayed area was the footprint of the project. And then I believe the finer dashed lines are just the overlay of the original petitioners of the Sandhills 6th and 7th. Ocho Indy, I believe, as they were identified. And here we have there was a unique situation this year in that essentially the city got to the bonding process to obtain our refunding improvement bonds a little later than we would have preferred this year. So we initially came to the City Commission and presented a resolution directing assessments to be levied that included carrying costs in the form of capitalized interest. Should we have to wait till next year to assess? And it seems like the stars have aligned, so we were able to present to the City Commission an amended resolution directing assessments to be levied that removed essentially that carrying cost. So both resolutions are in here. This is the amended one is the most current correct one and actually reflects the lower amount. If you're curious, that's why they're both in there. Again, this was the original that had a capitalized interest cost built in. The current one is the amended one, which is lower. Plan sheet cover page, essentially showing the footprint of the project again. Here's a good exhibit that really showed the scope of the improvements. There was a significant expansion to the stormwater pond, new streets, all new utilities, street lighting, and we were actually pretty excited about this project because it was able to bring some great companies to the city like Long Creek Steel, Coca-Cola. Very, very excited to see that type of growth occurring in the city. A few photos from during construction here. As you can see, they've put their dowel bar mats down for some concrete paving, fire hydrant being installed, some fabric and gravel going down for roadway base, and some excavation of some utility work over on the end there. After construction, I wish I had something a little more exciting to show, but it's a road with some streetlights and some utilities, and again, very happy with the way it's been developing and providing benefit, not just to the adjacent properties, but the city as a whole. It's got some great businesses coming in there. The benefit methodology here. You can see largely driven by the Sandhills replats, Sandhills 6th, 7th, and 8th. There was some property acquisition of a few Meadowbrook Park parcels that were included in that. But essentially, there was a little bit of I guess, a unique situation where there were some The engineering department would have probably recommended some type of assessment to the properties, but the developer actually worked with multiple entities, private landowners out here, and essentially asked that the city leave out some of those remaining parcels. There's a few people that still live out here, for example, and the city commission heard that and I guess was in agreement, and so there was a few of those parcels that were essentially left out at the direction of the commission. One of the few projects that I've been aware of where it seems like everybody was relatively happy at the end of how that process worked out, so it was good to see. And then as far as benefit, sanitary sewer was by the square foot, water main square foot, essentially everything square footage based. Here's the proposed benefit methodology map. As you can see, there's a few things. It's a little busy, a few things going on. You can see that there, was a large area where there was local benefit. There was some regional benefit for, for example, the second developer that petitioned for improvements was Ryan Rusted, I believe, owned this parcel, and there was discussions about, wanting to be included in the stormwater expansion of the pond, for example. Bit of a unique area up here, I believe the developer Ocho Indy acquired this area. Other than these few tags down here, that was also added to the project. And then these example of the few lots that were left out of receiving an assessment at the request of the developer and the commission agreeing. Good heat map of essentially how the assessments broke down per parcel. I'll leave it here for a minute if you like to take a look through.
Should be mentioned that this project also received a TIF district, so.
Very good point, Dan.
It's being assessed, but there's a TIF district that's able to make payments, and then they would be on the hook for anything that their tax valuations doesn't support, so.
There is a TIF associated with the district. If you have any questions, or I can keep moving on as well.
I'm good.
Okay. And then just a breakdown of what the special assessments look like. And I think the last thing in here is just our benefit determination methodology. So pretty much at the end of this one, available for any questions you might have. Any remaining questions?
I don't have any further questions.
Yeah, I would say, I'm not sure.
Individual action or at the end?
Maybe it's best to do individual actions.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried.
Okay,
1353.
on to 1353. Okay, Improvement District 1353 was the Dakota Medical Foundation development. Dakota Medical Foundation petitioned the city for, again, a greenfield development here. If you're not familiar with the area, it's just to the west of Costco up here. Essentially, they were looking to have streets, utilities, streetlights, various incidentals put in to make multiple properties up there more developable. This being,
If I could just break in one other time, sorry to keep interrupting you, Jerry, but the action on the last one, I believe, was the same as this one, where it's approve the assessment list, direct publication list, and notice of the hearing of objections, so.
oh, good point.
Your motion of, I approve assessment
Oh,
list,
yes.
that, I would ask that you would
List.
clarify that your
Yep.
motion was to approve the assessment list, direct publication of list, and notice of hearing of objections.
Yes, do we need to move back, or can I just, that wasn't the intent of mine.
I can make an announcement and then.
Okay,
We'll review.
Okay,
Sounds good.
thank you.
So for Improvement District 1345, we're looking for a motion for approving the assessment list, the direct publication of the list, and the notice of the hearing of objections.
So moved.
I second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Ben.
Yep, thank you.
Yes, thank you again for addressing that. Continuing on here, Dakota Medical Foundation, essentially Dakota Medical Foundation petitioned for the development. As you can see, the total project cost came in at $2,109,294.45. And this is proposed to be 100% special assessed to the benefiting petitioned properties. As you can see down below, just a summary of the commission's actions on this item. Followed by an exhibit showing the project and the improvement district boundary. And again, we have both resolutions, the amended resolution directing assessments to be levied, and as well as the original resolution directing assessments to be levied. And that original that we initially had capitalized interest costs in on. Overview of the project here, here's the cover sheet. Essentially shows the new street, connection to 23rd. An exhibit here, a good one that shows essentially the street and utility work that was put in. We also put multi-use path in along 23rd from 6th all the way over to 4th. Some photos of construction here. As you can see, the multi-use path going in, some storm sewer going in, concrete paving of streets, and again, what looks to be like some storm sewer. After construction, again here, unfortunately, nothing exotic to show, but just paths, streets, streetlights, utilities, everything's completed. Again, happy with the way the project turned out. We're just in the process of hoping the seeding takes off. As far as the benefit methodology on this one, there was no regional benefit. Everything was determined to be essentially square foot benefit: sanitary sewer, water main, storm sewer, street, and street lighting. And again, the benefiting area here, there was a little bit of work that had to go on in the front corner of Duluth Trading, but it was determined over the course of the project development process that there was no benefit to the work that was occurring there, and essentially they were not receiving a special assessment. Oops. And again, a heat map here showing the breakdown of the assessments based off of total project cost. And lastly, the list of assessments. And again, the only remaining document was just our benefit determination policy here. But at this point in time, I'm available for any questions you might have on Improvement District 1353.
I have not. No, neither. All right, so for Improvement District 1353, Code of Medical Foundation Development, looking to approve the assessment list, direct application list, and includes period of projections.
So,
Second, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried. Improvement District 2290.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Improvement District number 2290 was the 2025 Public Works Mill and Overlay. Let me get it up on the screen here. Basically, Public Works and Engineering identified roadways up to the north of 13th Avenue, which is considered traditionally an older area of the city. They were in critical need of some type of maintenance, rehabilitative work, so to speak. These roads still seemed like good candidates for a mill and overlay. And so eventually we came forward with Improvement District number 2290 here, proposing to perform the mill and overlay. There was also a separate project that occurred in this area at roughly the same time that addressed pedestrian ramps and ensuring their ADA compliance. That project was not part of I guess any of the associated costs with this project. Essentially, the total project cost here after construction was $1,114,122.08. And as part of the way the project was proposed, again, this being a mill and overlay, the city would fund 50% of the project cost, and the remaining 50% would be special assessed to the benefiting properties. As we scroll down in the packet here, there is a list of the commission actions that occurred on this project. followed by the improvement district map. A pretty large swath of the city up north of 13th Avenue. And it's probably important to note that 7th Avenue West from 8th to 11th was actually overlaid the year before based off of the poor condition that it was in and was not a part of this project.
That makes sense. Are there other areas like that? This is a pretty large area, similar color.
I believe that was the only unique area, I believe, as part of this one. Again, our amended resolution directing assessments to be levied at 1.114 million and change. And the original that just had the capitalized interest costs added in at the time. The cover sheet of the plans shown here. This was a little unique in that it was really the city's first assessed mill and overlay since the engineering department had began here that was really designed and constructed, designed by engineering with input from Public Works, and then constructed solely by Public Works' forces with engineering input. Very interesting, unique project. Some photos during construction. There was a lot of curb and gutter repair that was needed. Just a lot of differential settlement that occurred from various installation utilities from years back. And then there were some spot repairs and corrections that were needed in areas where there were essentially failures in the roadway. Those were excavated out and had filled with crushed concrete and repaired that way prior to having the mill and overlay placed. And every one of those spots, we typically made sure that there was at least 4 inches of asphalt that would have been left there. And the last picture there, you can see Public Works performing the actual overlaying of the asphalt and the compaction. Post-construction, some of the condition of the asphalt streets, some restriping that occurred, pictures of some of the new curb and gutter that was installed. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the area, but a pretty big positive improvement from the condition that was there previously. The benefit methodology for this one, essentially, I wanted to point out that there was just a unique situation where you can see the 4 lots of Block 1 of Tintus Holding Company Second. They fronted the area that Public Works had overlaid the year previous. The project was proposed and executed with no assessment. And so as such, there's no assessment shown as part of this project because the work that this project did didn't front any of those projects. And then every other project essentially received an equivalent unit. You can see there's some discrepancies because if properties are listed as townhomes or condos, they receive an adjusted equivalent unit. That's primarily where that comes from. And then you can see the 4 lots that are not proposed to get an assessment. I'll scroll down a little bit here. And I can stay on this page as long as you like to. As you can see, obviously, the school got the heftiest assessment.
And then also we started out, they had that assessment because it was already approved, that was the stretch.
That was the stretch where we proceeded the previous year with that mill and overlay. And when we proceeded with that project, there was no assessment that was proposed and approved by the commission. And then there's some odd control card lots in there that, open space city lots that are not receiving an assessment.
So the 4 lots that are zeroed out, did they pay a portion of the 7th Avenue West,
No.
not through special assessments?
No, that project, when that mill and overlay went through the previous year, was proposed and approved and directed on the context that it was to be 100% paid for via, I believe, capital improvement sales tax.
So should they be bearing some of the burden of this mill and overlay because it seems like they've gotten out of special assessments entirely?
There was a lot of internal conversation about that, but at the end of the day, I would say it was difficult for the engineering department to advocate to assess them because no work occurred in front of their property with this project, if that makes sense.
The previous year's mill and overlay that happened in front of the school was done out of need. I mean, it was absolutely shot, and it was more of an emergency. You need to get out there and do something before school starts because they were worried that they were going to lose the street. So it wasn't a project that went through all of the steps. It was more of a project that Public Works took on because they just needed to do something to that roadway the previous year. And more luck of the draw, they happened to be right across from the school that needed it under that emergency patching job. But the one thing with the Century Code is, you do need to show that you provided with this project a benefit to those properties. And since they weren't part of the project, it wasn't in front of their house, these are local improvements, there's no way for us to justify it. If, say they were to protest and say, what did you do in front of my house? And we'd have to say, nothing, so why are we being assessed? So we don't pass the litmus test of assessing those properties with this particular project. If there was anything that could have happened previously, is if there was time to have moved the previous project through the assessment process, they could have been assessed for the last one. But again, with the speed of the project and the need for it, it just was more of the Public Works needs to get out there. And there's been other streets in town that have been milled and overlaid by Public Works over the years that did not have assessments as well. So this isn't any different from that, and those have all been, for the most part, core area. Sure, holy cow, we need to get out there and do something or we're gonna lose the roadway. And that's where these 4 lots fall into
It's
place.
timing process, and we have a set precedent.
And then you had made the comment earlier about these are very much cheaper specials compared to the other overlay projects that we did, if you recall. Those other projects were designed by an engineer, bid out, and being built by a contractor, so 50% of all the costs of those projects were assessed, which included that design, which included the materials and labor and things like that from those contractors. And in those other projects, the concrete work that Jerry had mentioned didn't occur through this project, was done on those projects. So this project, because of the original direction of the commission was we needed to find another way to make these projects less expensive for special assessments. We said, we got a concrete pavement repair project that we can do the ped ramps in. So we added that concrete work into a concrete project that was already part of the CIP. And then basically the way that this worked for this project here was we paid for the material costs of the asphalt, And there was some concrete work that was done with this one too, like some curb replacement. But for, essentially, we didn't charge for any labor of our forces. We didn't charge for any equipment costs from our forces. As Jerry mentioned, it was designed internally, so there was only a 10% engineering fee charged to the project, which is probably half price of what it would normally be if you go out and do that. So there was a lot of savings that this project realized because we were going to perform the work with our own equipment and labor and things like that. And that's why these prices are reflective of that. It's to be determined. We're in the process of being sued by entities that say we're not allowed to do this anymore. Milling and overlaying still has to continue on, so that's why we continued on with those other projects through the standard, let an engineering company design it, bid it out, and have a contractor do it. We'll find out through the court system if we're allowed to recreate this project again, based off of the results of that lawsuit. But if the AGC, Brad Schmidt, and Steve Marquardt are the three entities suing the city to say that we need to cease and desist doing this work with our own equipment, and we need to bid it out because to break it down, we're saying that this is routine maintenance for the city to increase the life cycle of the roadway. They're saying it's an improvement, should be subject to competitive bidding laws, and so we'll see where the courts land. But this might be the only unicorn of a project that we did with our own forces and were able to assess with this methodology. So this neighborhood got a really good deal in the assessments portion of it because they were able to take advantage of us not charging for any of our labor and equipment.
So then no equipment, you said no equipment costs were in there, but no wear, tear, or anything like that was associated with the project?
No, we basically, we own all of the equipment, and we employ the people that are able to do that work. Because as I mentioned, Public Works has milled and overlaid a lot of different places. They basically said, well, let's take it to a neighborhood that needs it, and this is one way that we can answer the wishes of the commission to make the specials cheaper. So that's why we proceeded like this. But we did track all of those costs. We know what those costs were, like what did we pay our people during that time plus benefits? What did it cost for the trucks that were used? Those numbers were presented to the commission saying, hey, here's the true costs of the project. But when we take out the things that the city supplemented that we weren't going to include in the assessments, and then after that was done, we took the total cost of the remaining cost and cut that in half, and that is what actually got assessed to this. It just eventually ended up in a very reduced special assessment to these people. So we're hopeful,
Well said.
Yeah, we're hopeful that we can continue this method and continue some mill and overlays with some cheaper special assessments. But again, the court system will let us know if we're allowed to do this work or not. So.
Thank you for that
Yep, a
explanation.
little bit of a background on the costs page.
Yeah, I think a lot would appreciate the ingenuity to find something that's more efficient for the city. I mean, for it's gonna cost taxpayer money, but not be familiar with the law on the other side. Interesting that's a lawsuit. When was that filed? This year?
There's been, the lawsuit for this one was filed last year, shortly after the project went, but the work continued because the court didn't say to stop. By the time that it hit the court, we were done with the project. And so we argued that the lawsuit was a moot point at this point because we finished the project. And I believe the judge agreed with that. They appealed it to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has taken this case and has yet to be tried. Yep.
Any other questions?
No, not right now.
Should I scroll on?
Please.
Okay. And then we have the final assessment costs here. Essentially, you can see it was, I believe, about $1,520 per EU. And then obviously some townhome and some condo lots, the school lots, some apartment lots that, reflect a larger assessment. Again, let me know if I'm going too fast. And then just our executive summary of, and our benefit determination policy here. I think that is about it, though. And again, both Dan and I are available for any questions.
No, I can read it off if you'd like me to.
Sure.
I move to approve the assessment list, direct publication of the list, and notice hearing of objections.
One second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried. So that concludes the meeting. Is there any other agenda items?
No, sir.
Motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. I'd always like to say thank you for your time. It's some pretty dry material at times, so it's appreciated.